Back when it was first launched in 2013, the Suzuki S-Cross, or SX4 S-Cross to give it its full and correct name, was something of an interesting alternative to the mid-sized crossover norm. Perhaps not as good as a Qashqai, but certainly different to a Qashqai and appealing in its own way. It had reasonably neat styling, a reasonably neat interior, and handled predictably neatly. Now though, well, now it's a slightly different story. We're in 2017 and the crossover segment has moved on apace. We now have cars such as the Seat Ateca, the Volkswagen Tiguan, the Skoda Kodiaq, and Skoda Karoq coming down the line. We have the Hyundai Tucson, we have the updated Kia Sportage, we have the new Qashqai, we have so many other cars occupying this space. And so to try and keep pace with them, Suzuki has facelifted the S-Cross. And not made a great job of it, I have to say. That big chromy grille, I mean, it doesn't look as bad in real life as it does in the photos or on video, but it just does look a bit bolted on to what was previously a relatively pleasant and inoffensive shape. They've not done a fantastic job in here either on the inside. I mean, this touchscreen is good and it comes as pretty much a standard, and you'll get it at a lower rate than you will on any rival product, including Apple CarPlay, which is a nice touch in this class. It's a little bit fiddly to use, it's a little bit complicated, it's not as slick as rival systems. And that goes for the rest of the cabin too. Mostly it's well made, mostly it seems well hung together, the seats are comfortable, there's not enough space in the back, these dials look a bit old-fashioned and cheap, and there is just a sense of tinniness and a lack of solidity to the interior, particularly once you open the door. The door feels incredibly light, almost cardboard-like in the way it feels when you open it. Now, to drive, previously the SX4 felt fine, if somewhat behind the path of the class. Now though, considering how far the class has moved on, it feels a long way behind. It's just not good enough. The steering is oddly springy, although actually it has quite good road feel. It does respond well to changes in road surface, but it just never feels entirely settled or happy. The same could be said of the rest of the chassis. The suspension is quite springy, it's just a little bit too firm, and the SX4 finds itself banging and crashing into lumps on the road. It's just not a smooth riding vehicle at all. Now, there is one bright spot on the horizon. Well, two actually, we'll come to the other one in a minute. But the first bright spot is the 1-litre booster jet 3-cylinder turbocharged petrol engine. Now, you would think that that might be a bit weedy in a car like this that's supposed to be a Qashqai rival, but actually it pulls the S-Cross along with reasonable conviction and a not unpleasant little warbling 3-cylinder sound. It's a shame that the 5-speed gearbox feels a bit baggy and loose-limbed, but that aside, this is quite an impressive drivetrain, and you should be able to squeeze decent economy out of it too. Proof yet again that our mad rush for diesel post-2008 might have been something of a mistake. The other high point, of course, is reliability. In spite of the unfortunate incident involving the brakes of the Celerio city car a couple of years back, Suzuki does generally have a very good reputation for build quality and reliability. So if you buy this S-Cross, it'll probably hang together for quite some time to come. However, it really can't compete with the latest crop of crossover SUVs. It is cheap. For $24,995 you get this one in SZT trim, which comes with the touchscreen, with Apple CarPlay, with split zone climate, with plenty of other toys. And that puts it at the same price as a very, very basic, shall we say, an Ateca or a Qashqai, and way cheaper than a basic Tiguan. Nonetheless, just doesn't feel good enough even at that price level. The tinny interior, the slightly iffy handling, it's just a car that feels still stuck in 2013 in spite of the updates. It hasn't advanced enough to keep pace with the pack. It's not a terrible car. I suspect if you buy one and keep it for several years, you'll find it reliable and useful, but it just isn't sophisticated enough anymore. The rest of the class have moved on. The SX4 S-Cross still stuck down the back somewhere.